Report. You want answers?
Cleeze Report.
I want the truth.
The Cleeze Report with Roland on Inside the Cave.
You can't handle the truth.
All right, guys. So for my next guest, they are representing this fantastic app that I found. So I was on Instagram and I ran across this great new app. And this app is for users to report their interactions with police in the neighborhood. What drew my attention to this app is the details of the police departments in the particular neighborhoods, in the local area. The forum area was fantastic. That way you can interact with other users. And but I don't want to take all this time, trying to explain the app. For me, I'm gonna go ahead and let the creators of this wonderful app introduce their app and themselves. So let me introduce Gregory and Natalie, the creators of Good Cop, Bad Cop. How you guys doing?
Wonderful, man.
Hey, we're doing good.
Nice.
That's awesome. So let's go ahead and get this thing started by just asking you flat out, what made you come up with this app?
Go ahead.
Well, for me, I created it because I was in a situation in a rural area of Connecticut, and my family was affected by some road rage. There was a truck behind us, and it was, honking its horn and shouting obscenities, and I was in the car with my kids, and I have two autistic boys. And it was a scary situation, and I was just not sure how the reception would be in that area. Mm-hmm. And so I just, didn't feel I was comfortable to take that chance. So I just continued on and went on to my niece's graduations in Connecticut. But it kind of stuck with me that, here I was in an area, we were affected by this, and, there was really no way to know how, your response would be, or the police response would be in any given area that you're at. Mm-hmm. And, so that was what my thought process is, if you're traveling somewhere or if you're going somewhere, what is the police? What are their, what are their, rated? Where are they rated at? And so that's where, I kind of came up with this brainchild of, letting us know exactly what it is that they do and, how good are they? How do people in their community feel about them?
Right.
And so that's how I created this app.
That's awesome. So it's an engagement app with understanding and learning the police. So explain to us a little bit some of the great features. I touched on a couple, but can you expand on what I talked about and kind of explain exactly what the user will get from this app?
Sure. So the first page is your GPS page. So it can tell you how many police are in your area, what the stations are, and what their Google ratings are. And that is GPS. So if you are traveling, you can put in the area you're at and you can see what the police stations are near there and what they're rated at. The next page is your rate police page. So you can actually rate your interactions with a police officer. So you would just need a badge number or your location, and you can enter the badge number in. If there is a rating already with that police officer, it will come up, or you can just add a new rating. You can just pick, the officer's, details, and then you can leave a rating form and then leave a comment. You can also leave a pictures or a video.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a forum, and you can, in the forum, you can pretty much talk about anything that's going on in your community that you would like to address.
Wow, that's fantastic. I must say that I was out of my state and I used it in Bedford, Ohio. And you are absolutely right. I hit the current location and all the precincts that were in that area popped up nicely for me. I thought that was pretty cool. Bedford is a smaller area, so it's not being used there yet, but I just thought it was cool that I knew where the closest precinct was at. So that was definitely working properly from my town to another town. So that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, and the real cause for the app, I'm Greg, by the way. In my humble opinion, the real cause for the app is the best way to filter, for the community to filter their experiences on what takes place in their communities. And that's the biggest draw for me, is you, Ro, could have been in that situation. And let's just say, for argument's sake, the app has been out and been used a considerable amount of time. You had an interaction. You started to type in the information. That officer's information would pop up because whoever's in that city would have commented on that officer. Right. And you would know exactly how to conduct yourself in that particular situation. And what we're looking for is the unsung heroes, right? The main cause of the app is to get the community to trust the police again. And the only way to do that is to have the community actually comment on their experiences. And what you'll find, believe it or not, is a majority of the experiences that take place aren't as negative as they portray it. It's just people are genuinely combative because it's the police, and no one wants to deal with them, so they start off negative. But if you have something that actually highlights that particular individual's character, it would make that transition a little easier for you to communicate, or for you to even just be able to take information and make a sound decision for yourself. Right. That to me is the biggest draw to the app. I don't know. Now, if you have anything.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I like that idea, especially in this day and age of us recording videos and things like that and having these interactions. Right. I know that the world definitely is on a negative kick, and there's probably hundreds of thousands of interactions a day across the country. And you see online, and hey, listen, I get angry as well. You see these interactions where the police are just popping off, not de-escalating the situation, but for each one of those, I'm sure there's 100 positive interactions where a woman breaks down on the side of the road and the cop comes and helps her. Right. Or even on the a person does escalate and the cop de-escalates the situation. So It gives us that opportunity to look at that and say, okay, I met an officer, his name was Officer Ellis. And while Officer Ellis may have had some bad interactions, he had some 20 good ones. And he was very helpful to people. So I say, okay, wow, this guy's a pretty cool guy. Even though he did have some negative things, he had some positive things over there too. Right. So I love that aspect. So answer me this, guys. How long did this thing, from maybe not from, like you said, that time where you were in that city, but when you finally made the decision to say, okay, you called Greg and said, I got this idea, I think we should do this. And you set out, how long it take from that stage to where we're at now? Because I personally seen it, but I do know a little backstory on when it was launched. So I know you're kind of young, but how long did it take to get from A to B?
We've been working on this for about 2 years.
Okay.
And Natalie brought me in probably about 9 months after she initially launched everything.
Oh, okay.
Natalie started it off for a bit, and then afterwards, things were a little bit rocky. We're not going to go into details, but things got rocky. And she brought me on board to help, smoothing out the transition. And we made some very major changes. We found a new development company, and we made some modifications to the app, some additions, quite a bit of additions. Mm-hmm. And then, for the most part, we brought it to where we are right now. We've been launched for what, Natalie, 2 months now?
Yeah, 2 months.
Right. So it's been launched for about 2 months now. It's on the market for about 60 days. So it's really, really fresh, really fresh. But it's been 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
2 years in the making.
And I'm sure in a process like that, man, there's many hurdles.
Oh God.
I know, but just name me two of where you feel like where you might have felt was a hurdle or even a major drawback where you had to go, man, we gotta go all the way back to the drawing board.
Well, the name itself, Good Cop, Bad Cop, it literally, everyone is standoffish immediately because there is, it's funny because the police officers, they protect the blue, so they protect their own. Yes. And it's really funny because of that understanding, the community does not want to get involved. Like, so if you're doing anything that will remotely be against the police department, it is very few and far between that you find people that are interested in actually highlighting that reality. Right. So the our initial web developers were not keen on what we were doing. They were very happy to take the money, but they weren't keen on releasing what we were doing. And so
right.
They literally, caused a lot of issues, and we spent a lot of money unnecessarily until we were able to find a company that was, it took a lot of research, but that was reputable enough and solid enough to be, or have the fortitude to be able to put something like this out. Understood exactly what we were doing and what we were trying to accomplish. And they were all about it. They believed in it 110%. They thought it was necessary. And they launched us to where we are right now. I mean, to this day, they call and follow up and just say, hey, listen, is there anything else we can do? I mean, it's the company's amazing. It's amazing. It is unbelievably, it's amazing to find people like that genuinely understand the where we are in this political climate, and the fact that there's someone out there willing to be the tip of the arrow, for lack of a better term, on a potential change, a national change.
Right. So thinking of that change, that national change, and even the things that I chimed in with, being passionate about that interaction. Natalie, what do you think? Will this change the interactions with police? Is this going to be a tool? You've already won on you've already won on the map part. Like you said, I immediately was able to find police stations close to me. I think that's priceless in itself. But the other aspects of highlighting the good, do you guys really believe that at its height, this thing can change the interactions we have in the future with the police?
I believe it can. I believe that people just need, I think once it's out there and people are aware and people see that this is something that they can use to highlight the good and promote the good, for me, I believe it can create a standard. It could raise the bar a little bit. It could let people know that, let policemen know, look, these people are looking out for us. If we do our job, then this will help them do a better job at what they do. Because people are aware, people are out there. I believe a rating system will promote the good. It would bring out the good. Because I know when, if you're watched in a job, I know I worked retail for many years. And one of the things in retail is, that rating system. They want you to get that good rating system. So what does that make you do? It tries to make you, do a better job. I know that. So to me, it's in my assumption that it's really going to do a lot to help promote what's good that they do out there and make them feel that, their job is appreciated. So that, when they go out and that, and they put on that badge that it's putting on for something. That is my, ultimate goal for this, is to really, kind of elevate that.
My question to Greg is, what do you say to the detractors that say this is just a way to highlight more negativity?
Don't put them on. I mean, let's be honest, right? The only reason why we know they're bad cops is because they're being advertised, right?
That's what the media does, right?
Right. So now, as the community, you have a choice, right? So if they can't make the cut, then they can't make the cut. So you got to think of a police captain, right? So if the police captain says, all right, let me just look on this radar cop and see how my officers are doing in the field. They pick up the app or what have you, take a look at what's going on. They can literally look at all the police officers in the field and ask them, why don't you have a rating? Why aren't you on this app? Like, what's going on? What are you doing that's not giving you a positive rating? The community just doesn't even need to put anyone on the app, or you can put them on there so that the community can be aware of what's taking place. You can put them on there. Some people might not feel comfortable ratting, quote unquote, ratting out the police. You don't have to do that. You don't have to put them on there. But if there's something good that's happening and you know that officer can help someone else or some other family, they need to be acknowledged for that. Think about this for a second. If you're a cop, you put on a badge, everyone hates you. You know that the likelihood of you finding someone that's going to be difficult to work with is higher than if you would have found someone that isn't difficult to work with, right? Then you have to go back to the office and do paperwork. Now, if that officer is going to be stressed out, sitting behind a desk, sitting behind in that car, they're worried about whether or not they're going to get killed. They go through a lot. They have a lot of stress on it. It's all compiling. There's nothing to kind of relieve that stress, nothing whatsoever. So now if a cop heard or posted that they appreciate an officer for what they did, the officer may not even realize it until one day he checks himself and realizes, okay, well, you know what? My hard work and everything that I'm putting out there, someone appreciates that. It goes a long way. That same officer could have saved a child's life the day before, goes back to work, and the very next day, it gets spit in the face by somebody that he doesn't care about. No one's ever given him a pat on the back for the work he did the day prior.
Right.
He doesn't get that. The community can do that. If you knew you were a cop and you had an opportunity to see your rating and your hard work being recognized, you would feel better about the job that you're doing, even if it's just a little bit. But that little bit can save someone's life the next day, because if that cop goes out the next day, stress on top of stress, compiling stress, the captain gets in your face for making a mistake, somebody else gets, it just becomes this boil that we're watching right now unfold.
Right.
Because if you look at and talk to police officers at all, they're all angry. They act like they're not. They act like they're calm, but deep rooted, these dudes are pissed off. But if they knew someone was out there really appreciating the work that they were doing, a lot of the tension that we're faced with wouldn't be as high as it is now.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Can the police set up an account and interact with the app as well?
Oh, come on. That would be encouraged. What would you do, right? Let's say you got pulled over. You did not agree with the police officer. You went on and you posted a comment, right, in your local forum. The cop read it. He can respond in the local forum.
Wow.
Right? He could just leave a statement. This is what actually happened. If you would have listened, or if he would have listened, that dialogue is what's most important. Because if that dialogue can actually take place, it would ease a lot of tension. It would help out considerably.
I like that. I like that a lot. So how do you feel since launch? I mean, you only got a short track record right now, and I know you're working on it, and your publicity and just trying to get different people to support you. How do you feel like you're doing so far, and what would be the timeline for 2020? How would you feel where you need to be?
Go ahead, Nat.
Well, I believe that, it's slow going. I believe that we have some people on there, and we're getting some traction, but I wish the traction to be a lot better. I know we do need to get a lot more advertising and a little more growth on the app. But I do believe 2020 is going to be an awesome year for us. I believe that, this is on this pathway to success. I believe that, this is something that's needed. And I know that, we will get there. But right now, we're just a little, we're still growing. I'm hoping by 2020, we'll have at least between 20 to 30,000 people on the app. So I'm hoping by January of next year. So that is my goal. I'm all for it and moving forward. And I really appreciate you giving me this platform to talk about something that we're passionate about. Good Cop, Bad Cop is out there, and it's out there for people to, do and recommend and spread awareness about, cops doing great things in their community. It's, really out there just so that people have somewhere that they can talk about what's going on in their community. So, I appreciate you having us on here and being able to talk about it.
No doubt. I'm a guy who, with my platform, I'm here, of course, on Inside the Cave, but, I have a strong following on Instagram, and we talk about these issues. And I wouldn't be the person that I am not running across an app like this and not getting it out to as many people as I know to talk to, because you're absolutely right. It's not, to me, the way I read it, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, it's not a cop advocacy app, and it's not a cop hatred app. It's an app to try to bridge the gap between community and policing. And I think that that's a huge problem in our community. You know what I mean? It's not just
that is exactly it. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. You nailed it on the head. It is out there to be that bridge. Exactly. It's
some
exactly
wise man
that.
told me
really
that.
Is that bridge? What?
I said some wise man told me that.
Yeah.
No, I asked Gregory to explain it one time, and he said that exact thing. So I can't take credit for that.
No, man.
I can't even take. Listen, I snitches on myself. I can't take credit. It wasn't my word. I stole it from him. But like I said, there's no way I could not get this out there. Everybody that I know, and I know that we're based out of Chicago. We have a heavy following in Chicago and Los Angeles and in New York. All the big areas that you guys should probably be pushing to be in, and hopefully those markets will blow up. After this.
Right.
Yeah. I really, you don't know how much we appreciate you and your voice right now. But you nailed it on the head. This is about that. It's all about the community and bringing that voice to the community. Because I do believe that if we can, spread the word and spread the knowledge out there, then, I do believe it can make a world of difference.
I think you're right as well. So you already kind of gave me the 2020, hope. But is there anything that you guys are kind of dabbling with, or is it just good cop, bad cop, full steam ahead? Do you guys as a team, do you have any plans for this app moving forward, or for any other things that you might want to do?
We have some new technology that we're working on. We have a lot of things that are up and coming that the community desperately needs. We're not in a position to openly disclose all of that, because it's still things are still in the works. But Natalie, I love my sister to death, man. But as far as I'm concerned, 2020 we'll have 50 million followers down. I'm as optimistic as they come. I want the whole country to have the app. You know what I mean?
Hear that.
we have, as far as marketing is concerned, we're reaching out to quite a few people, and influential people at that. Mm-hmm. and that is, quite frankly, in my opinion, some of the holdup, as far as a mass release. Once you get to that status, things kind of change. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, absolutely.
It takes a bit of time for everything to get ramped up and launched. Like when I got started, me and you, like 3 months ago, me and you used to talk, we chat on a regular basis, mm-hmm. and then it just stopped. And
yeah,
you know, we've been pretty much, we flew to California to try to, work some things out. We were in Cleveland to work some things out. We have a new partner, Chip the Ripper. He's a rapper based out of Cleveland, and he's been on board with us. He found out about what we were doing, and I cannot explain to you how passionate it is for him to do something and be a part of it. And he's a local rapper that did very well in Cleveland, mm-hmm. And he wound up moving out to California. And once he found out what we were doing, he had to be on board. I mean, he did everything possible. When I do mean everything possible, just to get on board and be a part of what we're working with. And he's amazing. Like, to call him amazing is an understatement. Yeah. To be honest with you.
I think I'm familiar with him too, because I'm actually close to Cleveland.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, and I can't speak highly enough about him, honestly. Genuine guy. To hear him as a rapper, you would expect the character to be different. Right. Well, as soon as you meet him, he's as humble as you and I, man. I mean, he's just a genuine dude, and he's working really hard at trying to, do his best and build for us and get us out there. So, and if he can keep up the pace that we're at, on the pace that he's going, and this could be something that you see on a daily basis, man. It could be something that's out there, mass marketed for everyone to be able to use it. So that's the best that I can give you that we're working on right now.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Chip the Ripper is recently signed with us. He's a certified member of the team.
That's what's up.
Technically 3 of us now, so it's me, Natalie, and then him. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I really can't complain. It's wonderful, honestly.
I'm totally impressed, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a huge fan. That's why I kind of threw that question out there for the team. Like, this takes, to me, I'm fascinated by apps and technology. Yeah. So for you guys to put your brains together and say, or Miss Natalie, for you to just know that there's a need and then fulfill that need with some technology, I think we take those things for granted. You know Absolutely. What I mean? Like the things that we see in front of us, especially for people of color.
Right.
We are so in the forefront of a lot of these things. You see these African kids making radios and solar panels and, just all types of crazy technology with scraps.
Right.
You know what I mean? And over here in America, for you guys to put your brains together and come up with this is just fascinating to me. So let's get the people that listen to this show onto your platform so they can get this app. So if I have an iPhone, if I have an Android, how do I get this wonderful app onto my telephone?
So you can go, the app is Good Cop, Bad Cop. It is on Android and it's on Apple. Yep. And we do have an Instagram, Facebook, and we have a website. It's called goodcopbadcopapp.com. So you can also, if you want to you can put that on your phone. It'll link you right to either Android or iOS. And we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Awesome. So you're hitting, actually, you just wrapped me up because that was my next question. Where can we find you on? Where can we find you on social media? Because that's where everybody
Okay.
lives at.
So on Instagram, it is Rate a Cop on Instagram.
Let me say this though: when you're looking it up on Android or iOS, you just type in good space cop space good bad space cop. You have to put the spaces in between.
Okay.
Right? It can't be one straight sentence. So good cop, bad cop, just like that. It'll pop up immediately.
That's
right.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you want to leave the Inside the Cave listeners? Your last thoughts, Natalie. No. But no, we'll go Gregory, because Gregory's long-winded, so we'll let him go first, and we'll wrap the show up with the Queen. We'll let Natalie go last.
Yeah, let's do that.
Thank you.
Man, if I can be as short as possible, I apologize for being long-winded. I'm just really passionate about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So if I could say this, just download it and use it. Tell your friends about it. I mean, if it exists, and especially if it exists to help us as the community, there's nothing else out there that's available. And and the amount of time that we have is important. So if we're using our time effectively, you download the app, upload some information, it could save someone's life. It's that simple. I'm done.
Nice. Go ahead, Queen.
Yeah, so I'm going to say the same. I mean, if you've ever had a question on how you felt about the police in your community, download the app. If you are questioning about an area you're at, find out about it. Download the app. This is for you. This is for your community. It really is something that's out there that we can use as our voice to talk about what's going on where we live. So download Good Cop, Bad Cop. It's an app for you.
Excellent. And you know what? Natalie has the last word, but I will add, as the interviewer, what you also can do is something that I have not done. While I've definitely repped Good Cop, Bad Cop on my IG page, I have yet to share the website and the app on my personal page. So I apologize, because I go so hard on Instagram that I have not shared it on my Facebook page under my government name. So I will do that after probably either late tonight or tomorrow morning. I will make sure that my people who are friends with me, because you know what sparked it is when you said share this with your friends, and I'm like, you know what? I have not done that. So I'm sending it to my sisters, I'm sending it to my cousins, and I'm sending it to my sons. So my bad. How am I repping something that ain't really repped it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, man, you're amazing, brother. Thank you so much.
No, I love you guys, man. Like I said, I'm fascinated about what you guys did. You actually have something, I think a lot of times the conscious community, which I don't claim to be a part of, but I get lumped into, on my IG page, that is, we do a lot of lip service, and we talk about the problems a lot, but none of us is coming up with a whole lot of solutions.
Right.
And we're sure as hell not looking to support solutions. I'm not saying you got to be the brains behind the operation, but if someone has a solution, let's support them.
Oh, it's free, by the way. I forgot to put that out there.
Oh, there you go. It's free.
It's free. Yeah.
It's free. That's right.
When you said support, it immediately went, I was like, oh my God, the money. No, it's free. It's free.
I'm glad you said that, because people going to think, yeah, you're right. And they're doing this completely out of the love for the people. And listen, in my less melanated family, that doesn't exclude you. This is not a black app. This is a community app.
Right.
And if you have interactions in your community, it's going to work for you too. So don't think for a second that this is an exclusive pick on the cops or, I got to show what they doing. But no, it's not about that. It's about bridging the gap, communication, and opening up a dialogue. And I think you guys did a fantastic job of doing that. Thank you so much for coming on. It's one of my first interviews in a long time. So hopefully I wasn't rusty inside the cave.
Oh, no.
Awesome.
It was amazing, man. Yeah, and I forgot to add one feature that's going to be on the app. Look, you can look for it the second or third week of November. Actually, I take that back, like December. You're going to have a tab to where you can get an attorney.
Ooh.
Right, so right from the app, you need it in real time. You'll be able to go click right over, contact an attorney, and you'll have representation immediately. So let's say you get pulled over at that moment, you can get yourself an attorney at that moment. He'll probably meet you at the at the precinct.
That's a game changer.
Absolutely.
That right there, that's a game changer. So
Absolutely.
Look at that. He just broke it here first on Inside the Cave. You guys got the inside scoop. Go get
That's
the
right.
app. Be looking for the new edition for the attorney in December. Thanks for coming on, guys. Looking forward to talking to you again in another 6 or 8 months so you can talk about that 50 million subscribers.
That's right. That's right.